What's up, this regular Ravens fan coming back at y'all again. Watch these games, y'all, because I don't like doing this, but I can't stand the hate. I can't take it. So watch the games, trust your eyes, don't listen to these fools because I want y'all to listen to the hate being spewed out by Stephen A. Jackson in reference to Lamar Jackson. Um, Guys, Lamar Jackson is in his third year. He hasn't played 3 years. He's in his third year in the NFL. Also, remember that Lamar Jackson didn't start his first year. He started little more than halfway through the years when he started. He had a full season last year. This season, the Baltimore Ravens have a 5-1 record, with their only loss being to the Kansas City Chiefs in a game in which Lamar Jackson nor the entire Raven roster played well, with the exception of number 13, Devin Duvernay. Outside of him, nobody played well. So that's the Ravens' only loss. The Ravens are averaging better than 20. They're averaging better than 20 points a game, almost 30 points a game. I mean, they've only scored under 30 in 2 games. One was a loss, one was a win. And in both of those games, they scored 20 points or more. So the Ravens have been putting up points. The Ravens have blown out a few teams. And again, they're 5-1. I don't know. Why is it that when one quarterback's team has a winning record, we praise that quarterback, but the other team, we lament and disrespect Lamar Jackson? Without further ado, I'm going to get into this. I just want y'all to listen to what they say, and then I'm going to show you a few things to show you how the hate is real and the assessment of Lamar Jackson is fake. So here we go.
Does Lamar have more to prove than Big Ben in this matchup?
Actually, he doesn't. You know, if this was a couple of years ago, sure, for Big Ben. And Roethlisberger, let me be very clear, for a 38-year-old coming off a catastrophic injury for which he missed a season, especially, remember, it was the ligaments in his right elbow. And I remember Roethlisberger talking about, like, the doctor told him he'd never seen, like, this has never happened to a quarterback before, like that kind of injury. For him to come back and play the way he's played is amazing. By those standards, he's doing great, and he's a real NFL quarterback again. But he hasn't been Ben Roethlisberger quite. Not yet. He's been, like, you know, if you want to hold him to his previous standard, he's not yet measuring up. I didn't expect him to right out the gate, and yet it is what it is. Through a bunch of interceptions last time we saw him. He looks like a solid, right now, kind of middle-of-the-pack quarterback with a great defense. And by the way, some receivers and a running game, too. Roethlisberger, when he's really Roethlisberger, is, if not an MVP candidate, then the very next thing to it. We haven't seen that from him. And furthermore, I believe, as much as, you know, Stephen A., I'll leave Lamar Jackson to you, but whatever struggles they have in their passing game, the Steelers also, through the year, have not been amazing. The Steelers are going to be more dependent on Roethlisberger being the best version of himself if they're serious about contending for a Super Bowl championship this year, and they have the team to do it.
Oh, please. Ben Roethlisberger don't have anything to prove until playoff time. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. He's been to 3 Super Bowls. He's coming off an injury, and even still, they're 6-0 with him completing 68% of his passes, just 13 touchdowns with just 4 interceptions. Brother's balling. Even though,
QBR.
Who cares? The bottom line is that, again, he's going to be held accountable come playoff time. Lamar Jackson, even though he's got something to prove in the playoffs, and they got the second worst passing attack in football. The second worst passing attack. They rank 31st. He's completed about 63% of his passes. He's running the football effectively because he always does, but he clearly still hasn't been that dude you need him to be as a passer. When you talk about having something to prove, going up against this Steelers defense, with that secondary, the way they've been getting after the quarterback as well, the way they've been playing overall, as a defense, Lamar Jackson needs to show up and do his thing. Not running the football I'm talking about.
I want to stop it right there because I hope you all heard that. Look at your screen. Now, first of all, it's a little bit off. The completion percentage is the only thing that's off here. The completion percentage should be flipped. Lamar Jackson is completing about 63% of his passes, and Big Ben is completing about 68% of his. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. My point is, look at this graphic right here on the screen presented by ESPN. And mind you, I just showed you what the error was. That's the only error. The Ravens are 5-1 because they lost to the Chiefs. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers are 6-0. Okay? And they beat an undefeated team. That's a good thing. Look at this graphic. Lamar Jackson completing 63% of his passes, Big Ben 68. Lamar Jackson 10 touchdowns, 2 picks, Big Ben 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. Lamar Jackson has a QBR almost 20 points higher than Big Ben. His QBR is actually 18 points higher. So, what are we talking about here? We're saying that Lamar Jackson has so much to prove and Big Ben doesn't. Look at the QBR. See, the QBR is a very telling stat. But I digress. I'm going to show you another graphic to prove my point even more, because this is ludicrous that the Ravens have the second worst passing attack in football. Well, when you say things like that, what does it include? Because when the quarterback so the Ravens have the second worst passing attack in football. Obviously, the Steelers must not. Yet, Lamar Jackson's QBR is significantly higher than Big Ben's. Their completion percentage is 5 points of a difference. That's pretty close. Their touchdown to interception ratio is right around dead even. So if all of those things are even, why is one great and one has so much to prove? Now, I told you I'm gonna show you another graphic. Let me show you this one. Hold on 1 second. All right. So this is the other graphic I wanted to show you all. This is Lamar Jackson's season stats for 2020. Lamar Jackson is 27th in the league with 1,135 passing yards. Tied for 18th in the league with 10 touchdowns. Tied for second in the league with only 2 picks. And 10th in the league in total QBR, 76.1. Okay? I want to let you all know something right now. Lamar Jackson has 373 yards rushing. That's what he has. It's not on this graphic, but trust me, you can look it up if you don't believe me. He has 373 yards rushing. So if we combine his total production of 373 yards rushing with 1,135 yards passing, we have about a grand total of around 1,400 and what is that? 1,412 yards. So 1,412 total yards for Lamar Jackson. 10 passing touchdowns, 2 picks. Now, look at this. This is Ben Roethlisberger. Now, I just told you that Lamar Jackson's total yards is about 1,412. Look at where Big Ben's yards are. Now, remember what Stephen A. just said. He's the second worst passing attack in the league. Well, Lamar Jackson is 27th in yards. Big Ben is only 23rd. Lamar Jackson has 10 touchdowns. Big Ben, 13. Lamar Jackson has 2 picks. Big Ben, 4. Lamar Jackson is 10th in the league in total QBR. Big Ben is 23rd. Yet, the national TV media personalities will tell you that Lamar Jackson is not a passer of the football, that he has so much to prove. This young man just won unanimous MVP, everybody. He did that last year. He did that. Remember, he threw 36 touchdowns last year, and I think it was like 7 or 8 picks. He's got 10 this year and only 2 picks. Also, keep in mind, the Ravens do not have an explosive down-the-field offense. We've got one receiver with great speed, and everybody else is just regular speed for NFL standards. They're a lot faster than me, but when it comes to the NFL, they just have regular speed. He does not have people who are always open. He's a young player. Lamar Jackson is 23 years old. As they just told you, Ben Roethlisberger is 38 years old. So Ben Roethlisberger has all of those seasons of seeing defenses, where Lamar Jackson is only 23 years old, and he's in his 3rd year with about 2 full seasons of games now. So what are we talking about here? Lamar Jackson has so much to prove. Remember, Stephen A. Smith said Big Ben is balling. He's completing 68% of his passes. He's got 13 touchdowns. He's got 4 picks. He's balling. He's 23rd in passing yards. So if he's balling at 23rd in passing yards with his numbers, what is this? When I told you, this young man has 373 yards rushing. And also keep another thing in mind. When you play against the Pittsburgh Steelers, you don't game plan to stop Ben Roethlisberger. You game plan to stop their offense as a whole, those wide receivers, because anybody's been watching the Steelers play, Deontay Johnson, he's a player. He's basically AB 2.0. Chase Claypool appears to be a player. I don't know yet. They've got a steady running back. They've got a steady tight end, Big McDonald. Their defense is outstanding this year against the run and putting pressure on quarterbacks. Their back end is a little suspect, but their defense is outstanding. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we say Stephen A. Smith says Big Ben is balling. The Steelers have come seriously close to having a 500 record. They are 6-0, and you can't change a win into a loss, so I'm not going to go down that road. However, they barely beat the Houston Texans. Houston actually had a lead late. They barely beat Philly, as did the Ravens. They barely beat Tennessee. Remember, Tennessee had a chance to win the game late or tie the game late and missed a field goal to tie the game. So let's not act like, but again, this is what they do with you all on national TV. These are the things they tell you all. They play games with your mind as if you all are not smart enough to see what's really going on. Lamar Jackson is no worse than any other quarterback. Lamar Jackson is no less of a passer than any other quarterback, as shown by these stats. And the main stat is the one on the right, the QBR. As Skip Bayless would say, QBR. One guy's at 76, one guy's at 58.3. That should tell you something. This is regular Ravens fan. I'm going to keep destroying this hate. And after, I'm going to do something that I rarely do. I'm going to guarantee you all a W. After the Ravens win this game on Sunday, what will be the excuse then? I don't care how they win because I care about W's. And I've told people, Lamar Jackson has a NFL record as a starting quarterback of 25-4, 3 to the Chiefs, 1 to the Browns. 25-4 regular season record. And he's got something to prove. He's not a passer of the football. Unanimous MVP, threw 36 touchdowns last year, only 8 picks, set a rushing record while throwing those 36 touchdowns, set an NFL rushing record. What more does this young man have to do to get his respect? Look at the numbers. And I'm not even a stat guy because I trust my eyes. When I watch Lamar Jackson play, I see what he's about. I can see it. He's 23 years old. He's not going to make every pass. But if you watch the kid play and you see some of the lasers he throws, if you see him drop his arm down and fit the ball in the tight spots, when you see him roll out and find an open receiver for a touchdown, when you watch Lamar Jackson play, anyone who thinks this kid can't play is a moron. You're a hater or a moron. And I think you're a hater because I'm not going to call anybody a moron. I'm going to say you're a hater or a moron. This is regular Ravens fan. I'm Baltimore Ravens for life, Ravens Nation. We out here. Again, the Ravens will win Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Ravens will score 30 points. And they'll find another reason to hate on Lamar Jackson. He may throw a pick because this defense is pretty tough. Let's go, Ravens. Ravens for life, man. I'm out.